My friends, have you ever had one of those moments late at night when your body is exhausted, but your mind just won't stop? Or maybe you've been surrounded by people, noise, work, meetings, and endless responsibilities. Yet deep inside you suddenly feel empty. And then a quiet question rises in your heart. What is all of this really for? We live in a world with more technology, more convenience, and more opportunities than ever before. But at the same time, many people feel more anxious, more restless, and more emotionally exhausted than ever. We keep chasing success, money, recognition, relationships, and security, hoping that one more achievement will finally make us feel complete. Yet, even after reaching the things we once dreamed about, something still feels missing. That's why so many people today become interested in spirituality, meditation, Buddhism, mindfulness, or self-discovery. Maybe it starts with a book, a podcast, a meditation app, or a quiet moment where life suddenly feels deeper than everyday stress. We begin to realize that real peace probably doesn't come from constantly grabbing more things from the outside world. Maybe it comes from understanding ourselves more deeply inside. But once people begin exploring spirituality, another question naturally appears. If spiritual growth is about the mind and heart, then why do monks leave society and become monks at all? If peace is internal, why not practice while living a normal life? Why leave your family, career, and everyday world behind? That question is actually very honest and important. Because deep down, what people are really asking is this: what does true spiritual practice actually mean? Most of us think of home as a physical place. It's our family, our relationships, our routines, our identity. It's where we feel safe. But from the perspective of Buddhism, the real prison isn't the building we live in. It's the attachments inside our minds. In Lotus Sutra, the Buddha described the world as a burning house. Many people think he meant the world itself is terrible. But the deeper meaning is that our minds are constantly burning with desire, anger, fear, jealousy, anxiety, and endless craving. We spend our lives chasing things because we believe they will finally make us feel secure. We want more money, so we work ourselves to exhaustion. We want love, so we fear rejection and loss. We want recognition, so we become trapped by other people's opinions. We think these things will free us, but often they only make us more stressed and more afraid. What Buddhism calls leaving home is first about leaving this inner prison. The real home we cling to is the ego, the constant obsession with me, my feelings, my success, my pain, my image. We become controlled by praise and destroyed by criticism. One compliment can make us happy all day. One insult can ruin our entire week. Zen Buddhism teaches that true freedom begins when we stop being controlled by this endless attachment to ourselves. The sixth patriarch Huineng taught that real practice is not about appearances, it's about the heart. A person can live in a monastery while still being consumed by greed, jealousy, and ego. Another person can live in the middle of ordinary society, yet slowly develop peace, compassion, and awareness. One may look spiritual on the outside but still be trapped inside, while the other may appear ordinary yet already be walking the path of freedom. So the real question is not, should I become a monk? The real question is my mind becoming freer? Still, if spiritual practice is internal, then why do monasteries and monastic life exist at all? Because environment matters more than we think. If someone wants to become an Olympic athlete, they usually enter a serious training environment. If someone wants to become a scientist, they join a university or laboratory. In the same way, monasteries exist because deep spiritual training requires focus, discipline, and support. Practicing while living a normal life is difficult. You try to meditate, but your phone rings. You try to read something meaningful, but work emails arrive. You try to calm down, but stress, relationships, bills, and responsibilities pull your attention away again and again. A monastery creates a space designed entirely for inner work. The environment itself supports silence, reflection, discipline, and mindfulness. The people around you are all focused on the same goal, understanding the mind and freeing themselves from suffering. That kind of atmosphere can deeply shape a person. There is also another important reason: guidance. Spiritual awakening is not something that always comes from reading books alone. Especially in Zen, wisdom is often passed directly from teacher to student through experience, insight, and personal understanding. Sometimes a single conversation or realization can completely change someone's life. But this does not mean only monks can awaken or grow spiritually. In fact, Buddhist history is filled with great lay practitioners, ordinary people with families and jobs who reached profound wisdom. One famous example is Vimalakirti, a wealthy man with a family who was considered spiritually advanced even among monks. His story teaches that true peace is not found in a special location. It is found in the state of your mind. If your heart is filled with anger, comparison, and attachment, then even a temple will feel like suffering. But if your heart becomes calm and compassionate, then even a crowded office, subway, or grocery store can become a place of practice. Another Zen practitioner, Layman Pang, said something beautiful: miraculous powers and wonderful activity, carrying water and chopping wood. In other words, true spirituality is not about supernatural experiences. It's about learning to stay awake and balanced during ordinary life. Can you remain calm when your child is crying nonstop? Can you stay aware when your boss criticizes you? Can you notice your anger without letting it completely control you? Can you face stress, traffic, illness, disappointment, and uncertainty without collapsing internally? That is spiritual practice. Real practice is not escaping life. It is learning how to stay conscious inside life. Many people imagine spirituality as escaping to the mountains. But sometimes the harder path is staying in the middle of ordinary life while keeping your heart awake. A monastery has structure, reminders, and protection. Everyday life does not. Society constantly pulls our attention outward through entertainment, competition, fear, and distraction. That's why practicing in daily life can actually be incredibly deep. Your workplace becomes your training ground. Your relationships become your mirror. Your frustrations become your teachers. Every difficult moment becomes another chance to understand yourself more honestly. In the end, becoming a monk and living as a normal person are simply two different paths toward the same destination: freedom from suffering. The most important thing is not where you live. It's the condition of your heart. True spiritual practice means slowly letting go of ego, attachment, and the constant need to control everything. It means learning not to define your entire worth by success, failure, praise, or rejection. It means understanding that peace does not come from forcing life to go exactly the way you want. Someone can wear robes and still be trapped by ego. Another person can live an ordinary life while gradually becoming deeply free inside. And eventually, spiritual practice leads to one final realization. True freedom comes when you stop needing the world to constantly confirm who you are. In Diamond Sutra, there is a famous line: develop a mind that does not cling to anything. That doesn't mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means becoming free enough to fully live, fully love, fully experience life, without constantly being trapped by fear, attachment, and control. So maybe the real question is no longer, should I become a monk or stay in society? Maybe the real question is much simpler. Where is your mind right now?